As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. I'll fix up the colors. Don't you worry. And spawning in the top left hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg. It is SHIN. Let's go. Let us go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we delve into our best of 5. Now, we saw SHIN be hyper aggressive and hyper cheesy in his match against Bjorn, but we'll see how he approaches the ZVP matchup. Again, his ZVT has been very aggressive, very assertive. We've been seeing a lot of SHIN versus Terran as of late. We haven't seen as much of his versus Protoss as of late, though. So I'm curious to see what he brings to the table. I'm leaning more towards all-ins and aggression from SHIN. I feel like that's kind of going to be the go-to here, is a bunch of 2-base all-ins and 3-base all-ins. But we'll see if SHIN takes a different approach. Something that is viable and that we saw a lot from SHIN in months past was mutaplay. Mutas are viable here, but the issue with mutaplay is that ideally it's easier to get away with that on larger maps, but also ideally it goes unscouted, right? It's heavily reliant on not being seen here by your opponent's oracles and by your opponent's vision. If they can confirm the spire early on before it's finished, then it often gets shut down. So it is a big risk to go for mutas. We'll see. We shall see. Here we go. As we are going to be opening up, and so far it's going to be a Stargate open out of Classic. Now, Classic is known for his mid to late game. Classic has some of the best, if not the best, late game PvZ in the world, straight up. Better than Max Facts, better than Hero. That is where Classic does thrive. So if he can slow the game down and build up into Sky Toss, that is going to be his win condition. Now, don't get me wrong, Classic, he is not just a one-trick pony. He is known for not just that, but also to be more diverse in the mid-game as well. He's not as diverse as Hero, don't get me wrong. Hero thrives in the early to mid-game. Classic can still mix things up, though. He can still mix things up. He can still be aggressive. That is what makes Classic so terrifying, is that he's also somewhat diverse. There's a great odds in the Gamba. Oh no, what are the odds, Pappy? What are the odds? The initial depth does threaten a shade, so I'm just checking the predictions. Ooh, as we do get one drone. What, 2? Ooh, okay, one drone. One drone goes down. Thankfully, the other does survive, just barely. Does force out a Spore Crawler. So we're settling in. Wow, Jesus, a lot of faith in SHIN, Fab. Yeah. The Oracle does go for the dive. Gets 1, gets 2 more drones, 3 in total. Nice start for Classic, and do you see what I see? I see an early Twilight Council. We just spoke about this, if you recall, winding it back, how Classic, he can mix things up and be aggressive, and we're seeing that here and now. Very early Twilight Council, no Forge. This does look like Glaive Adepts. Does look like Glaives. Lings are being turned away. And show us that tech of choice. Technically, this could be early Blink, but nah, with 3 more gates on the way, it should be Glaives. I don't see a Robo, though. The Oracles poke in. Yeah, Blink is on the way. No Robo, so no Prism Aggression. It is going to be early Blink out of Classic. Now, because Blink is so early here, and because the Forge is so late, there's a very high chance that this turns into a 3-base all-in. That we see a Gateway Explosion behind this, and we say go for an 8-gate 3-base all-in instead. Yeah, the longer we go on without a Forge, the more likely this becomes. Oh, there we go. Delayed Forge out of Classic. Very delayed. Meanwhile, we do see that SHIN is playing safe, going for his own Roach Warren. Okay, so safety Roach Warren. So if this was Glaives, SHIN would be ready for it. He would have been ready for it, but as we can see, it is not Glaive Adepts. Checking SHIN's vision, SHIN, he scouted the main, he saw the gateways, he didn't see the Twilight Council, but again, he's playing safe due to the gateways that he saw. And with Blink finishing up this early on, Classic should apply pressure to the 4th base. Yeah, the 4th is scouted. Classic should push. Here come more gateways. During what we said, we're looking for a gateway explosion, and I believe this is going to be 6. Yep, 6 gateways in total, and it's looking like we want more. This probe is very suspicious. Okay, going back to mining. We have 6 gates so far. Oh, going for a Temple Archives and gases. He's not going for the all-in. Okay, so just 6 gate aggression out of Classic going into Storm. Here come the initial Stalkers. Again, this is hitting earlier than normal because of early Blink. And SHIN is in trouble. SHIN has 18 more links on the way. He's going for the counterattack. Going for the backstab. The hatchery's getting low. Hatchery is low. Does blink away. At the same time, Stalker's back at him to defend. Good defense out of Classic. Stasis Trap is not going to trigger. And remember, Classic is not all in. Like, Classic is getting damage. He's getting damage. He is committed. He's aggressive. But he's working on Storm. He's working on the next step. Lings are coming from behind. I do think it's greedy that Classic has no battery here. And no shield battery. Is very greedy. Hydras are revealed. SHIN going Ling Hydra. Into potentially even Roach Hydra. Interesting. Classic reinforcing. Pushing out with more Stalkers. And he wants those Hydras. And he wants everything. One more volley. Kills the 4th base. Nice pickup. Lings are coming from behind. Stage Trap does punish. But oh my god, the Lings and the Hydras. Oof. And SHIN is in trouble. SHIN is in a lot of trouble here. Classic does move in. Oh, doesn't get the Hydra, but does pick up Zerglings. Stasis Trap about to run out. SHIN has to get the hell out of here. So I'm going to say Classic. Classic has to get the hell out of here. He pulls away. Races back home. Storm is now done, and here comes the second wave. Now, when it comes to this next wave, when it comes to this next push, Classic is pretty all-in. Sorry, there we go. I was about to say that Classic, his 4th base is very late, and it does get thrown down, but this is a very delayed 4th. Classic, he has to get damage done with this. The Storms, they have a lot of potential. I mentioned earlier that Roach Speed was being researched, but Roach Speed was cancelled. It is a Ling Hydra composition. It's very fragile. Very, very fragile. And no Banelings. Oracle's at home to defend. Center base is denied. A Storm does land. Ooh, that's going to be 2 Storms. High Templar, they're still protected. Another zoning Storm. There's maybe 2 Storms left, not many. A better Storm here. Oh my god. Storm zones away the main army. Oh, but where are the reinforcements though? Classic. Yeah, he needs Warpins, he needs Zealots. Classic is about to be overwhelmed. The Zealots are now trickling in, but they're late. Yeah, the Zealots are delayed. The downside of not having a Robo, not having a Warpism. Yeah, no Warpism, and with that, Classic is hurting. Yeah, the all-in has failed. The all-in has failed. All the High Temple went down. SHIN can now counterattack, and Classic is in a lot of trouble here. Remember, this 4th base was heavily delayed in favor of the aggression. And the aggression failed. The aggression failed. Classic has lost map control. Nice Storm. SHIN coming in from behind. Baiting out more Storms as well, like 2 Storms left. Soon to be 3. SHIN is coming in from the other side. Storm does zone. The Zealots are trading well. Jesus. But they overextend. Yeah, the Zealots, they do overextend. SHIN rotating over. There's still a lot of storms left over though. Classic getting hold. Yeah, lackluster storm. Better towards the end. But we are being a little bit wasteful here with the storms. There's all one left. And that was the final storm, and SHIN has done it. SHIN has done it. He has broken the center expansion. Whew. Again, Classic, he was so aggressive, but he had no way to reinforce. He had no prism, he had no proxy gateway. It was a little bit odd. Yeah, it was an odd style there out of Classic. He didn't get the momentum that he was hoping for. This map is very small, but it is so bold to warp in from back at home to reinforce across the map. It just wasn't quite worth it. There's that last storm. And with that, SHIN, he'll take a lead. He'll take a lead in the series. And breaks the area here in between the bases. Breaks the natural. Takes down the cybercore. We got Tempest amassing. The copium Bappy. And I appreciate that we were trying to turtle up into Tempest. It was a big risk. Big risk. But won't save the natural. It doesn't save the expansion. SHIN can just back up and build up. Tempest now moving in. Hydras are coming in from behind. Tempest forced to commit. And this should be the last push here for Classic. Does recall. And oh, he will lose 2 Tempest. Yeah, 2 Tempest go down, 2 Tempest recall back home. Once again, a couple of storms can delay this. But this is just such a massive deficit here for a Classic. Oof. Losing 2 more Templar. Very nice spread. And spreads against the army. Zalsai trade well. Like, this is an efficient trade here from Classic, but he's still losing far too many High Templar. As we're getting messy. We're getting very messy here. Actually, had an Archon. SHIN is taking. We have the Hive on the way. Spire as well, just in case. Ready for Corruptors. Yeah, we got 2 Tempests in a dream, Pappy. Let's go. I mean, Corruptors are coming, so these Tempests, they can't really do too much here. Not after the Corruptors arrive. Speaking of, here they are. Remember, recall's on cooldown. It was used earlier. Now being used, and oof, does not save it in the Tempest. I storm. Jesus. SHIN shouldn't kill the... Actually, it's going to be close. Uh-oh. It's going to be close here with the closest rate. And he does get the expansion. Okay. Nexus goes down. Ah. Not like this. SHIN is moving in. It's been like an 8-minute death animation for Classic, but he's holding as best he can. Storms are doing well for themselves, but we're running out of storms. Classic is almost out. We got no mass. One left. One more storm. I just say lunge in. That's the final storm. Center base goes down. At the same time, we do see Classic going for a massive... Okay, he's going for the counterattack. We're going for the base trade. Let's go. He's going for the base trade. Right, SHIN is racing back home to defend. Yeah, he should be fine. Races back home. Pushing into his own natural. Lurkers a burrow. Just lunging in. And this does at least get some damage done. There's another recall. Ah. And this is some nice damage, but if only Classic had an economy, right? Back at home, there just is no economy. He's got 44 workers. He's got a 2-base setup. That's all he really has. It's not enough. We're broke, Pappy. We're broke. Making 2 more Tempest. Storm once again does zone. Alright, just lunging in. Oof. Catching a Templar. Forcing out the Archon. And we just walk through the storms at this point. That's fine. We just move through the storms. GG gets called, and SHIN takes game number 1. GG. GG. Whew, SHIN does take a lead in the series, and we're getting ready for game number 2. Winding it back here, SHIN, he did go for a... I mean, I was going to say he went for an all-in. Winding it back, Classic went for a very aggressive build. Classic, he did go for a Twilight Council before 3rd base, into early Blink, into 6k Blink Aggression, which I wasn't opposed to. It was pretty good. It was doing a lot of damage, killing Lings, killing the 4th base as well. But if you recall... Classic, he went a step further than that. He went into Charge and went for the Templar Archives and went for Storm, all on 3 bases. He went for a very late 4th base. So as a result, Classic, he had a lackluster economy, and he was very committed, borderline all in when it came to his Stalker Aggression into Storm, into Charge. So Classic was very, very committed. He was borderline all in, and we saw that he failed to get damage done. We saw that SHIN did a great job when it came to counterattacking, harassing, engaging with the High Templar, baiting out storms, and of course shutting down the army. Once that happened, I mean, that was kind of game then and there. It's game then and there, as Classic had no longevity in that game, just because he had delayed his economy for so much in favor of the early aggression. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss for Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg player himself, the South Korean Zerg, leading the series 1-0. It is SHIN. Let's go. Let us go. Now, welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is another one of these aggressive maps. It does favor aggression. We do favor all-ins here. The reasoning for this is because of the open entrance at the natural and the open entrance at the 3rd base. 2 very open expansions alongside a short rush by ground does typically lead into hyper aggression and all-ins from our players, from SHIN. As he does open up pool first. Okay. Sorry, it's just stretching. Don't forget to stretch. Posture check in the chat. True. Posture check. No slouching. Look after yourselves. As SHIN does go for his own early pull into a later expansion. Leads into early queen production. We'll see the timing of SHIN's lair. And whether he stays in gas after link speed. Let's go. I think he could have backed off earlier and not taken as bad of a trade and been in the playable spots. I think I agree. It doesn't feel good being in that kind of position for Classic, but it is possible that he could have recognized a little bit earlier that he had lost momentum and he could have not pushed out with his High Templar. That is true. That is true. I do think that he was losing speed when he got caught out on the left-hand side. If you remember, like, Classic, he was getting a lot of damage done. He was trading well on the left-hand side, stasing the army, but there was a moment where he overextended, and when the stasis traps ran out and he got surrounded, and it was bleeding out stalkers. I think those were kind of the moments when we were emphasizing that he was overextending, he had no way to reinforce across the map. I think that was the moment that he blinked into SHIN. He blinked into him and then away, and then Zealots came to reinforce, but he bled out like half his stalkers. Like, that was the moment where Classic lost momentum, and from that moment he had to make a choice: either commit and go for the quote-unquote all-in, or back off and be defensive. And he decided to commit. Right? He decided to commit with his High Templar, with his Storm, and everything just kind of fell apart. But like, that was the moment where he had to make the decision to either back off and try to turtle, or just double down. And he chose to double down, right? Chose to double down. But yeah, that moment was when the stasis trap ran out on the units, and when he pushed forward like into the army and bled out like half the stalkers. Here we go. Here we go. We're now getting into game number 2. For now, we are looking at SHIN. So SHIN, he does invest into link speed. So link speed is researched, does pull out of gas. Once again, early Twilight Council. Now, last game, remember, early Council, late Forge. We thought it was Glaives, and Classic instead went into early Blink. Once again, my assumption here is Glaives, but we have seen these early Blink builds be successful at times. Ooh, meanwhile, that is an Eva Chamber. So, what does the Eva Chamber tell us? This tells us that SHIN, he's going into +1 melee, he's going into Ling Hydra, he is most likely skipping roaches and skipping banelings. As your oracles, they poke in, 3 drones do go down, Lings, they counterattack, catching out the adepts, getting 1, getting 2 even, not bad. Phoenix? Wait, what? My assumption is Glaives, but we'll see. Blink. He's going for early Blink once again. Okay. I favor SHIN here. I was gonna say that because of the early Eva Chamber into +1 melee, into Ling Hydra, SHIN is gonna be vulnerable to Glaive Adepts, but it is not Glaives, it is Blink instead. Lings are better against Stalkers than they are against Adepts. So I do favor SHIN's position when it comes to our builds of choice. Once again, I believe this should be 6-gate Blink. We have 4 gateways so far. That is a 5th gateway. So 5 gates on the way. Gas is not being taken, and I don't see a forge. So this looks very similar to last game, except this time there's no forge. This tells us that there's a higher chance now that this turns into an 8-gate 3-base all-in. I like how I'm like, it looks like an 8-gate, and then bam, late forge. It's like, god damn it. Forge tells us that we're getting into a longer game, but it's very late. Very late forge, very late upgrades. There's a lot of pressure on Classic to get damage done. This is very similar to last game. Very, very similar for Classic. But this time we have mass Lings. Blink is not done. Oh no, the surround! It comes in for the surround. Massive lockdown. He does catch 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers do get picked up. He respects the Oracle. But rough start for Classic. Classic already taking whole damage on all these Stalkers. Yeah, taking whole damage. Queens are on the horizon. Once again, Classic behind this, going into his own Templar Archives, going for a late 4th. Headed towards Storm. Will at least force to cancel. Does force to cancel. Lings, they do get us around on the Zealots. Oracles, they race home to defend. Now at least Classic denied the 4th base. True. Oh. So he denied the expansion. Lings, they fail to get damage done. Still very tense. Very tense. As SHIN might lose another expansion. He's going to commit, but the Oracles. Yeah, the Oracles are support. Stasis Trap does go up. Hydras are slowly amassing. Queens, they push forward as well. Again, SHIN, he has to make a stand here and now, otherwise it's over. And this time Classic is out trading. Yeah, he's out trading quite heavily, actually. Lings, they attempt to flank. Hydras are slowly building up so far. SHIN, he does keep the hatchery alive. Alright, does keep the base alive. Massing on more Ling Hydra. Storm is halfway done. Oh, this time Classic getting much later Storm. I would imagine because he feels like he's close to breaking SHIN. So he's been committing a little bit harder with extra Stalkers. Here come the Templar. Uh-oh. Brainlings are rolling in. Classic doesn't react in time. Oh no, the reaction! Ooh, it gets late. Yeah, late reaction. Brainlings do roll in. They make their way to the mineral line, and they do connect. 12 probes. 12 probes going down. Storm is just not finishing. Ooh, with Storm and with this many High Templar, Classic can kill. Classic, he can't kill. There's the first Storm. Oof, on the main army and the mineral line. Brainlings are denied. And Classic is snowballing out of control. Yeah, snowballing out of control. One Templar goes down. Once again, Storm to the Mailings. They connect! Oh my god. They get one. They get one more Templar. Nice Storm in the mineral line. There's 2 Templar left. That was the final Storm. That was it. Yeah, no Storms left. And SHIN's holding. Wow, SHIN's holding on. 0 Storms remaining. Collapsing in the army. Nice aces. Very nice aces trap, but it's purely Blink Stalkers. Classic needed more damage. He fails to break the expansion. You can see SHIN now taking a supply lead. Oof. And you can see Classic being outscaled, and you can see this is very similar to last game. Obviously, like, this was, I would say this was closer. Like, Classic almost killed SHIN here and now, but you can see just how on a knife's edge it is. Like, the moment that the aggression fails, Classic falls far behind in terms of the army supply, I should say. The economy here is actually in favor of Classic, but SHIN is not droning. SHIN, he's not getting a 5th base, he's not droning up. SHIN, he's also not teching. Last game he went up to lurkers. This time there's no hive, no infestation, no lurker den. SHIN, he himself is forcing himself into an all-in, into a 3-base all-in. Here come the Storms. Yeah, Storm to the zone. SHIN, he's pushing further in. There's going to be more Storms available. So far the Storms have not been connecting. Yeah, better Storm on the top side. Bailey's there. Oh, no, the Templar get caught out. No more Templar, no more Storms. SHIN is breaking through. At the same time, 15 probes to go down, takes down the expansion, and SHIN is overwhelming. Again, there was only one good Storm there. Not good enough. Not good enough, Bappy. 15 probes go down. Remember, SHIN, he chose not to tech, he chose not to expand. He's now getting a base after the fact. Oh god. Was distracted for a moment. But SHIN, he's done it. Like, he broke the 4th base. He can now back off and rebuild. SHIN is choosing a drone, so he's droning up from here. And if he wanted to, he could throw down a lurker den. It's a hard call to make, right? Does SHIN start to get ready for a longer and later game, or do we just try to kill? SHIN is trying to do both. Is at least expanding. But there is still no infestation pits. Yeah, there's no pit for SHIN. Ooh, the wall's not a wall. Lings, they flood into the main. They force a recall. SHIN at the same time could be striking this 4th base. But otherwise is distracted. Yeah, SHIN is more fixated with expanding and maintaining his own expansions, his own bases. SHIN now confirms. Can Classic recover in this game? So my big concern here, as we are giving Classic a little time, is that SHIN still never threw down a lurker den. Even lair tech lurkers can work wonders defensively here. Given that SHIN is still stuck on Lingbane Hydra, storms can still tear him apart. Like, a couple of well-placed storms will annihilate this army. Yeah, it's gonna be 2 storms initially. We gotta be careful. Both players do. Another Zealot drop. As the prison did go down. Forcing on more more storms. Now SHIN, Classic does have storms to spare, but we gotta be careful. As Classic does retake his 4th base. SHIN, he never droned up his 5th. So the economy is actually quite low for SHIN. Never did drone. Just now transferring. So once again, SHIN is he's choosing to stay on a low economy. Coming in from behind. Bailings, they roll in. No major connections. Classic takes a better fight. Yeah, better fight for Classic. SHIN trying to commit forward. Doesn't get on top of the Templar. Storms are connecting. Oh, brutal storm on the Hydras. And that lead that SHIN once had, he's losing it. He's losing that lead. As we mentioned, he chose not to drone. He chose not to drone. He chose not to tech up. Oof. Classic is doing it. He's going for a tri-pronged attack. Here comes the main army. A flanker at the 4th base and Zelts into the main. Yeah, and SHIN's being pulled apart. Ay, ay, ay. Hatchery goes down. Main base under fire. Remember, SHIN, he chose not to drone. There were opportunities. He could have. Ay, ay, ay. And it looks like he might barely break this expansion, but at the same time, Zelts are pushing into the natural now. Yeah, the tech is under fire. This is all that SHIN has left. And we're just waiting for a warp in. Classic has no bank. Okay. We're going for the base trade. We're going for the base trade. But time is on Classic side. And GG. Yep, GG gets called. Classic, he will hold, he will defend. And we have a back and forth series. We're tied up 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Very intense, very back and forth. Initially, SHIN, he was doing well. Like, he was able to hold on, able to defend his northern 4th base, take better fights, cripple the economy, kill the 4th expansion, and SHIN did get ahead. But as we mentioned, it was SHIN's choice. SHIN, he had to make a choice there. Either double down and try to kill Classic, or back off and tech. And I will say that SHIN, he was very middle of the road there. It was a little bit of both. Where SHIN backed off, he threw down an expansion, and then he still built up his Lingbane Hydra, but he didn't commit as hard to the aggression. He allowed Classic to get a 4th base up and running, and he chose not to drone, he chose not to tech, but it was also being quite or relatively passive with the army as well. Yeah, it felt like almost indecisive play there by SHIN, and in that indecisiveness, Classic popped off. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into our next game, going to be loading into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have... There we go. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Protoss Pro. Tying up the series 1-1, it is Classic. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg, the South Korean Zerg. It is SHIN. I was like 10 seconds he should have backed off. I mean, I feel like that's the tale of this series for both players, where there were kind of moments here where both players, game 1 for Classic and here game 2 for SHIN, where there were moments where they could have like backed off and been a little bit more reserved and could have gone further ahead by teching, by expanding, and by probing up. We saw that from Classic in game 1. We saw that from SHIN in game 2. We're just being overly aggressive, Fappy. Overly aggressive. There we go. And here we go. From here, Classic, he's going to be opening up. Standard open out of Classic. Likewise, once again, late gases from SHIN. So going for the earlier spawning pool. 6 Lings are on the way. With this, SHIN can threaten the natural of his opponent. Maybe threaten the pylon. We'll see what these Lings do. We'll see what they accomplish. Bad high Templar utilization. I mean, kind of. If you're referring to game number 2, there were a lot of high Templar, there were a lot of storms, but especially when it came to the initial fight, a lot of storms were, it felt like premature. It felt like Classic, he was throwing down some premature storms and they weren't really gaining much value. That led to Classic losing the 4th base for the first time. But as the game went on, we saw better storms, right? We saw better storms. He locked in. Meanwhile, here comes the initial Lings. And we're going for the pylon. Can he bring it down? He can. Wow, the pylon is going to go down. The Adept does not come out in time. Oh, seconds away. And the Probe Scout, the Lacquer Probe Scout, is punished. 5 probe kills early on. This is getting out of hand. This is becoming far too much damage already. 6 probes going down and the pylon. Oh no, can he get 7? Can he get 8? 9? Oh my god. Barely not, but this is critical damage here. He wants that probe. He wants it. He wants that worker. Oh my god. It barely doesn't. Peeling off into the main. And again, 8 probe kills early on. Very nice damage. I'm winding it back here again. Classic went for a delayed scout across the map, and he had a late realization that it was a pool first. It was pool first, not hatchery. Late 3rd base out of SHIN. And so far, nice damage. Nice damage out of our Zerg player. From here, SHIN is taking up. We do have the Evo Chamber on the way. That's for +1 melee. Adept does shade in. Does confirm the Evo Chamber. Nice scout here by Classic. Nice scout. Ooh, as it's still a very shaky early game. There's no tech. I just realized, like, there is no tech here. Remember, the Cybercore was depowered earlier. Not even Warp Gate. Yeah, no Warp Gate. No Stargate. No Twilight Council. Lings a force out of force field. This is just a very, very shaky early game here for Classic. As Lings, they pick up one of the sentries. We're being a little bit wasteful here. A little bit wasteful. As we have a Roach Warren follow-up. Robo gets thrown down. Are we going for a Soul Train? Are we preserving the sentries and going for like an Immortal all-in? It's just a really quirky early game here. And Link's like, no, he gets into the natural. Dipping into the main, looking for tech. Should confirm there's nothing here. Nothing in the main base.
Your forces are taking damage.
God damn it.
Terrible damage.
God damn it, Shin. And Shin just has to chill. We're just gonna calm down, drone up the third, get further ahead. Shin is doubling down on Link production. Now, this is a risky maneuver here. It is worth it if he forces a cancel. If he can force a cancel, it's fine. If he doesn't, then this could have been drones. Could have been workers. Going for the sentries. One of those force fields. Classic does hold. It's holding on. And we're going for DTs. This is just such a messy mid game here. Like, what is going on? +1, Dark Templar, Robo for Immortal production. Roaches are amassing for Shin. Shin does drone up somewhat on 3 bases. Somewhat. And Shinny commits. Yeah, he's not droning. He's choosing not to drone up. He's just doubling down on more Roaches, Ravagers, Lings. Like, I mean, to be fair, Classic is also pushing. Does Shin have detection? It does have the lair, but no Overseer. No Overseer with the main army. Archons are coming in. Sorry, I should say Dark Templar. Dark Shrine is almost done. Yo, what are we doing out here, Classic? Like, what's the... It's a very fragile army. He's gonna get surrounded. He has a recall. It does get fully surrounded. He's gonna lose everything. The entire army goes down. Ay, ay, ay. What were we doing out here, Pappy? DT's now warping in. And Shin just commits. He just commits across the map. There are some defensive DTs. Bearing in mind, there's no Overseers. 0 Overseers here for Shin. Going for the expansion. No spores? No shot! What? No spores! And no Overseers. Drones are going down. We're getting messy. We're getting very, very messy here. Yeah, no spores. Overseer does finish up though. 13 drones go down. But Classic will lose his third. He'll lose his third base. More spores into the main. 14 drones. I mean, that's a lot of damage. Unironically. God. Oh, no. As Shin did race all the way back home. Now, this is a lot of damage, but thankfully, Shin killed the third. So, Classic is still behind. Classic is still in a really rough position. 17 drone kills. Jesus. Prism takes a lot of hits. Takes a lot of damage from that spore. Again, Classic is trying to build up, but Shin might just be able to kill with this army. And this time has detection. This time Overseers are out. Here comes Shin. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. A dog wearing shades with 100 bits. God, baby God. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Gracias, baby. Gracias. It's been a clown fiesta of the grand finals, by the way. It's been it's been non-stop all-in after non-stop all-in. Meanwhile, the Immortals get locked down. Baozu connects. There's 2 Immortals left. It's down to 1. 1 Immortal remaining. He wants it. He gets it. Final Immortal goes down. Boys are being pulled. No more Lings, so A bit of a rougher trade here for Shin, but there we go. Lings, they come in to reinforce. They take down the Mineral Lion. Looks like a Classic will barely hold, will barely defend. But Shinny's running up to 80. This time 80 workers for Shin. 77 even. Nada. And no shot, we're just going to slow things down. Okay. We should have seen this last game, and it looks like Shin doesn't want to repeat the same mistakes from game number 2. But Lurker then gets thrown down, infestation pits, gases are being taken as well. We're just macroing up. Macroing up. Just teching, building up into a greater economy, and soon to max out. Now, Classic, there's a world where maybe Shin does overextend or he makes mistakes, similar to last game. But even here, no Ravagers. Efficient trades, all these Roaches are going to get picked up. The Force Fields, they just lock down the army. Oh my god! Shin just throwing away a wave of Roaches and Hydras. It's moments like this that Classic is hoping for, where Shin had 0 Ravagers. So just couldn't deal with them. Couldn't deal with the Force Fields. Now, Classic can do that again. If he can do that again, cut the army in half, and this time catch out the Lurkers, and maybe we have a game. And we just got to do that again. See in chat, Sentry winning games? I mean, Classic is still far behind. Like, he's still far behind. Lurkers, they morph in. Force Fields, they zone away the Lurkers. Hydras are on their own. And these Hydras are going to be cleaned up. And nice clean up here. Classic being hyper efficient. And again, it's kind of working. Not getting us up the Lurkers. Lurkers are on their own. Now, one DT is still alive, by the way, across the map. The Valley of Happy. Oh no! It's that DT had 18 kills. 18 kills on one Dark Templar, but finally goes down. And Classic should not be able to deal with this. I say that 2 Lurkers get picked up, now getting a 3rd. 3 Lurker kills. Here, still trying to rally across. Going for a Zealot counterattack. Once again, we're getting messy. Oh, he wants the Immortals. He gets one. Nice around. Very nice around. Catching one Immortal. Lurkers are being cleaned up. As once again, the Immortal count gets reset, losing both Immortals to the Hydras. And Classic should not be able to hold on here. I mean, I say that does warp in an extra wave of Zealots. Doing what he can. But with that, Shin, he's snowballing out of control. He breaks the throw base for the second time. GG gets called, and Shin, he'll put another point on the board. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Shin, he does bounce back, and he will take a lead in the series. Winding it back here, again, it was a very, very, very weird game. For those that remember, it was a pull first. It was a pull first build out of SHIN. With that pull first, SHIN, he killed 6 probes. He killed 6 probes and a pylon, which really did disrupt the early game. It also meant that the cyber core was depowered, warp gate was delayed, gateway units were delayed, everything was delayed. We saw that Classic was stuck on 2 bases. He went for a robo opener into a gateway setup, into mass sentry, into a very late 3rd base, into late tech as well. The tech of choice was a dark shrine, and Twilight Council on the dark shrine actually did come into play. A lot of workers went down, but he also lost his 3rd. He lost his 3rd base, so Classic, he was far behind tech wise and economically. His DTs did a lot of damage, but it wasn't enough. It was not good enough. He killed what, like 18 plus drones across the map, but that was still not enough damage. Again, just a really quirky game due to the early game aggression. And now we're going into game number 4, and spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss down in the series. We'll see if we can bounce back. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg. It is SHIN. I'll fix up the names. One moment. There we go. Here we go. So we're getting into game number 4 here, and we'll see if SHIN can close it out. We'll see if Classic can force the ace match. But again, it's been a hyper aggression every game so far to SHIN with mixed results. I mean, both players have been very aggressive, but last game particularly was just really odd when it comes to Classic's follow-up to go into like an immortal sentry all in. But remember, when Classic was trying to recover in the mid game, he got caught out in the open. He lost all the sentries in the center of the map as well. Like, it was a really weird game. It was a weird one. Let's go. As once again, we do see SHIN going for a delayed gas. So hatch, pool opener, later gases out of SHIN. Just checking on the bunnies, making sure they're okay. The broadcast is lasting a little bit longer than we're used to. Bit of a longer broadcast. Chaotic games all around. Have we experienced a single macro game today? The answer is no. Ironically, if you haven't been here, or if you missed out in the earlier rounds of the other semifinals, the quarterfinals, the round 16, the round 32. We've had 0 macro games so far. And do we finally calm things down? Probably not. Probably. For now, Stargate opener, Stargate at the Classic. Meanwhile, SHIN claiming his 3rd. SHIN does pull out a gas. Okay. Pulls out of gas, going into link speed. Show us what you got. So now we're settling in. Now here comes the initial Oracle. Again, Stargate open into the Oracle, so harass across the map. 3rd base is on the way. For the first time this series, do we go for a standard opener? Remember, every game so far, we've seen some very early blink timings out of Classic with mixed results. I mean, I would say with poor results. Even in game 2, the game that Classic won, I feel like SHIN had the advantage and it slipped away. Once again, early Twilight Council. Yeah, early Council, late Forge. We've seen this twice now this series so far at a Classic, and it looks like early Blink once again. Just like every other game though, I will say that this can be Glaives. We could see Glaives first, or we could see Blink. We'll see if a Forge eventually gets thrown down. Forge equals Blink, no Forge equals Glaives. There it is. Forge is on the way, so once again, early Blink from Classic. I'm not too fond of the idea of going for this kind of style on these larger maps. Some decent damage, gets 3 drones, okay. 4 drones go down. Early Roach Horn out of SHIN is scouted. This time no Evo Chamber. This time there's no fast +1. Okay. Eyes are on SHIN. Meanwhile, Classic is working on his upgrades and will soon be active on the map. The lack of Evo Chamber and lack of +1 melee, this looks like +1 range, so it looks like Roach Hydra. Seems to be the composition here for SHIN. The other option, by the way, is this could lead us into a Spire. Could be +1 range into Roaches into a hidden Spire. That is also viable here, it's an option for SHIN. There's that +1 range. Lara's about to finish. Likewise, Classic taking up into Storm. And it is going to be not the Spire, it's going to be the Hydra Den. Okay, so it's just going to be Roach Hydra. Again, we're bracing that mid game. Lings, they do catch one of the Stalkers. Not quite. Gotta respect the Oracles. As the Classic is breaking forward. Meanwhile, SHIN baits out one of the stasis traps. Again, SHIN has to be so careful not to lose these Roaches. So far, only bleeding out Lings. Hydras are on the way. 7 Hydras in production. You just have to buy time for the Hydras. Oh, transfuse not good enough. Yeah, the Roach still goes down through the transfuse. Means they rally over. 14 Hydras on the way. And SHIN is holding. Ooh, very nice. SHIN is holding on. And now collapsing in. This time no more stasis traps. And SHIN is fine. Yeah, SHIN is fine. Now, my big concern here is that SHIN, he's holding, he's defending. All the upgrades are about to kick in. And SHIN, he is cutting workers at 76. That is, what, just under 4 base saturation. SHIN, he wants to commit. He will hit the 4th. Classic is racing back home. SHIN wants to chase. SHIN, he wants to chase the army. Does start +2, but he's still just rallying everything across the map. He wants to kill. I believe Storm is done. Yep, Storm is done. How many had Templar? 6. Jesus. That's a lot of Templar. They're with the main army. Nice rotation out of SHIN. Gets on top of the expansion. Even punishing the Stalkers. Oh, that's a lot of Stalkers going down. Base out 1, 2 Storms. Lings. Oh, the High Temple. No, they're exposed. Yeah, Lings coming from behind, and that's going to be every High Temple falling. Ay, ay, ay. Is that just game? Yeah, it looks like that might just be it. Another Storm coming in from behind. Okay, we did have a couple of extra High Templar, but for the most part, Classic has been broken. The 4th base goes down. GG gets called, and SHIN, he will claim the series 3-1, becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Hyper aggression out of all of our players here tonight. As we mentioned, not a single macro game. At no point did we ever slow things down and build up into like a back and forth like 3 and 4 base economy. You could definitely argue that we kind of got there on 10,000 feet between Classic and Shin, but not really. Like, they were still hyper aggressive, and we still had a big lead from one of the players due to early game aggression. And with that, GG well played. With that, Shin does claim the series. When it comes to this game specifically, Shin, he went for a roach base opener this time. It was on Shin to survive the early aggression of Classic, to survive with his roaches, and to hit his Hydra timing with Hydra speed, roach speed, and +1, and he was able to break out across the map. Bearing in mind that Classic was behind, once again due to the fact that Classic, he was a little bit more assertive with his Blink Stalkers. He went into early Blink, he went into late +1, into late +2, into a more aggressive follow-up here, and I believe he went into Storm before the 4th base as well. Late 4th base, earlier Storm, very tech heavy, and there was a lot of potential with those Storms, but as you saw, the surround was brutal. To come in from behind, to collapse on those High Templar, and to get a kill, to kill the High Templar as well, that was a massive move from Shin. You need those High Templar to survive, they're the backbone of your army, and to be surrounded to lose those Templar early on, that's game. That's game then and there. GG. Whew. GG well played. Again, just a really unique style here from Shin. He forced out some really weird games, and I don't think Classic was comfortable at all. Like Classic, both Classic and Beyond, they both had a really hard time, and we're seeing a shift in the meta. We're seeing a shift here. Thank you so much. Let me play with your kitties for subscribing for 23 months, almost 2 years of support. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Thank you so much for the support. But we're seeing a shift in the meta. I don't know if you noticed, but specifically from the Korean Zerg players, to be fair, Shin, Solar, and Rogue, they have already been leading towards all-ins throughout the course of the last 6 months. That is true, but now we're going one step further, and we're seeing a lot of 2-base play. We're seeing a lot of 2-base lair. And if you saw Rogue in RSL, he was doing the same thing. Very similar here to Shin, where we saw a lot of early Roach horns, a lot of early spawning pools, early lairs, early tech, low drone counts, a lot of early aggression, a lot of weird timings, and Maru was caught with his pants down, Kira was caught with his pants down, Classic, Byun, a lot of these top players were getting caught out by the aggression of the Zergs, and we're seeing more and more of that here, at least from the Korean side of things. This is not being replicated by Raynor and Serral. Raynor and Serral, they're playing more standard and more macro oriented, but it feels like the Korean Zergs have just had enough, and it's just non-stop cheese in every matchup, in every single matchup. At least when I say the Korean Zergs, I mean Rogue, Solar, and Shin. That's everyone basically. That's all the Korean Zergs. So yeah, they've definitely taken a bit of a different turn, a bit of a different outlook here on these matches, and it's led to some really short series. And this has been the case for the past couple of weeks now. GG well played. We'll see how the Protoss players adjust. I'm hoping that we see an end to the early Blink aggression. I do think that this has been hurting the Protoss players. So we should be seeing like an end to early Blink and a return to more safe and standard play instead. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on our players. We'll see how players like Classic, Hero, Max do adjust. But GG well played. You have to ask Dark what he's playing nowadays. I mean, what I should say is that all these Korean Zergs, they're playing like Dark. This is how Dark used to play back in the day, back when he was active, of course. Very similar to this. Very, very similar. I'm sure he would approve. It all comes back to Dark. But GG well played. With that, we're going to be wrapping up here for the day. Bit of a longer broadcast. Exclamation mark calendar or schedule in the chat to catch up with the rest of our schedule here. Again, congratulations to Shin for becoming our champion. Shout out to Classic for coming second. We did have Percival and Byun with their 3rd and 4th places respectively. And as you can see, GG Machine winning the random raffle as well. True. Did win the raffle. When it comes to our schedule, it's a bit of a leaner broadcast schedule this time. I believe the schedule is not updated, but very quickly, we should be live tomorrow with the Water TV Monday I'm not mistaken. Yes. So Wardy TV Monday is going to be tomorrow evening. We have the OSC Rising Star event on Tuesday. We have GSL CK Tuesday evening. We have PvZ Cup, Kung Fu Cup, the Podcast, KSL, MSO, and many more events to come. I believe this week we should be organizing the TLMC judging stream. We already went through the judging process. I already submitted my final scores on my feedback, but we should be getting the top 16 results within the next couple of days. Should be within the next couple of days. Should be getting those results in, just as a heads up. So we'll be all over that. We'll be all over that over the next couple of days, and we'll be having like a summary stream going through the top maps, going through our scores, our feedback, and the other judges' feedback as well. So it'll be like a finalist stream for TLMC at some point this week. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for Wardy TV Monday. See you then. Ciao, baby, ciao. Hasta luego. See you next time. I'm giga tired. If you want to support this event, you can do so via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments on a regular basis, so Tuna Cup, alongside Duckling Open and Swan Open as well, all funded via Patreon. So thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Ciao, baby, ciao. Hasta luego. See you next time.